Lincoln has a lot of neighborhoods, and if you pick the wrong one, you'll know it within about 6 months. In this video, I'm walking you through 7 of them so you can figure out exactly where you'd fit before you ever sign a lease or make an offer. By the way, before we get into it, I help people just like you every week who are trying to make the right move to Lincoln, and I genuinely love to help you too. The best way to reach me is by calling or texting me at 402-570-1661. Or you can email me at timwoosley@nebraskarealty.com. The link to reach me directly is also in the description below. Okay, let's get into it. I've organized these 7 neighborhoods by price point, starting with the most affordable and moving up from there. So if you already have a rough budget in mind, feel free to jump ahead using the chapters below. But I'd actually recommend watching the whole thing because a lot of people end up surprised by which neighborhood fits them best. First up, near south. This one is for you if you want to be close to downtown, love the idea of home with real history, and don't mind that some of those homes come with a project attached. It's one of the most walkable neighborhoods in Lincoln and one of the most affordable if you want a central location. If you like old houses, front porches, and neighborhoods where every home looks different, you should know about this one. This is the Near South neighborhood in Lincoln, Nebraska. A lot of people like this area because of the historic homes, the mature trees, and how close it is to downtown and the Haymarket. It's one of those neighborhoods where you can walk around and feel like the houses actually have stories. Probably a few creaky floors to go with them. Most of the homes here were built in the early 1900s. And you'll see everything from beautifully restored houses to fixer-uppers that somebody's slowly bringing back to life. Prices can vary quite a bit depending on condition, but many homes here tend to fall roughly from the mid-100s up into the low 300s, with renovated properties going higher. This neighborhood is especially good for first-time buyers, people who love historic homes, or anyone who wants to be close to downtown without living right in the middle of it. One of the best things about this area is the character. You just don't get neighborhoods like this in newer parts of town. Next up, Everett. Same historic vibe, but even more budget friendly, and in some ways, even more central. Here's what it looks like. Everett is the neighborhood that gets overlooked because people don't always know its name. But once you see the price point and where it sits on the map, it makes a lot of sense. This one is especially good for first-time buyers, investors, or anyone who wants a central location and doesn't want to overpay for it. If you want to be close to downtown without paying downtown prices, this neighborhood is worth knowing. This is Everett neighborhood in Lincoln, Nebraska. A lot of people like this area because it's one of the older neighborhoods in Lincoln with historic homes, big trees, and a location that's really close to downtown. It's also one of those neighborhoods where you realize shade in the summer is a seriously underrated feature. Most of the homes here were built in the early 1900s, and you'll see a mix of smaller historic homes, rentals, and renovated properties. Prices here tend to be more accessible than some other central neighborhoods, with many homes often ranging from the mid-100s into the mid-200s, depending on size and updates. This neighborhood is especially good for first-time buyers, investors, or anyone who wants a central location and doesn't mind a little character in their home. And one of the best parts of Everett is how central it is. You can get almost anywhere in Lincoln in about 10 minutes, which is basically our version of traffic. Now, University Place. It's still affordable, still historic, but this one has a completely different energy. If the tree canopy in fall is your thing, pay attention to this one. University Place sits near UNL's East Campus, and it's one of the prettiest neighborhoods in Lincoln in the fall. I'm not exaggerating. The homes are older, prices are still accessible, and it's a great fit for first-time buyers or anyone who wants character without the premium price tag. If you want charm, history, and to be close to UNL East Campus, this neighborhood is worth knowing. This is University Place neighborhood in Lincoln, Nebraska. A lot of people like this area because of the historic homes, mature trees, and the proximity to East Campus and local shops. Most of the homes here were built in the early to mid 1900s, and you'll see a mix of smaller historic homes, rentals, and renovated properties. Prices often range roughly from the mid 100s into the mid 200s, with updated homes going higher. This neighborhood is especially good for first-time buyers, investors, or anyone who likes older homes and a neighborhood with character. And one of the best things about this area is the tree canopy. It's one of the prettiest parts of Lincoln in the fall. Okay, we're shifting gears now. Colonial Hills is where things start to feel a little more ranch style and convenient. If you want to be in the middle of everything without paying for brand new construction, this is worth knowing. Real quick, if you're finding this helpful, make sure to subscribe. I post new videos about Lincoln real estate and what it's like to live here every single week. Okay, back to the neighborhoods. Colonial Hills is one of those neighborhoods that doesn't get a lot of attention, but it probably should. Built mostly in the 60s and 70s, it's got ranch-style homes, mature trees, and a location that puts you within about 10 minutes of almost everything in Lincoln. If convenience is your top priority, this is the one. If you want a central location, but still want a neighborhood feel, this is one people often overlook. This is the Colonial Hills neighborhood in Lincoln, Nebraska. A lot of people like this area because of the central location. You're close to just about everything, but it still feels residential and quiet. Most of the homes here were built in the 1960s and 70s, and you'll find a lot of ranch-style homes and established streets with mature trees. Prices often range roughly from the low 200s into the low 300s, depending on updates. The neighborhood is especially good for first-time buyers or anyone who wants convenience without paying for a brand new area. And one of the best parts of this area is how easy it is to get anywhere in town. It's kind of the definition of middle of everything. Now we're stepping up to newer construction. Highlands is one of the most popular areas on the north side of Lincoln. And once you see why, it makes sense. Highlands is for the person who wants newer construction, doesn't want to deal with as many surprises, and likes the idea of parks and open space nearby. It's a strong pick for families, and it's got easy access to I-80 if you're commuting. If you want homes on the north side of Lincoln, this is one of the most popular areas. This is the Highlands neighborhood in Lincoln, Nebraska. A lot of people like this area because of the newer homes, parks, how easy it is to get to I-80 and the north side of town. Most of the homes here were built in the 2000s and newer, and you'll see a lot of modern single-family homes. Prices often range roughly from the upper 200s into the 400s, depending on size and features. This neighborhood is especially good for families and people who commute or want newer construction without being in the busiest parts of the city. One of the best things about this area is how open it feels. You've got spaces, parks, the quieter picks. All right, country club. If you've ever driven down Sheridan Boulevard in the fall, you already know why people love this area. Country Club is one of the most established and desirable neighborhoods in Lincoln. We're talking brick tutors, tree-lined streets, homes that were built to last, and a location that's close to downtown and UNL. If you have the budget and want character, this is hard to beat. Here's a closer look. If you like big trees, old houses with character, and streets that make you slow down, whether you want to or not, you should know about this neighborhood. This is the Country Club neighborhood in Lincoln, Nebraska. A lot of people like this area because of the tree-lined streets, historic homes, and how close it is to downtown and the University of Nebraska. It's one of those neighborhoods where every house looks a little different, and the streets actually have shade in the summer, which in Nebraska honestly feels like luxury. Most of the homes here were built in the early to mid 1900s. You'll see a lot of brick homes and updated historic properties. Prices vary quite a bit depending on size and updates, but many homes tend to fall roughly in the mid 300s up into the 600s and beyond for larger or fully restored homes. Honestly, one of the best parts of this area is just driving down Sheridan Boulevard, especially in the fall. It's one of the prettiest streets in Lincoln. And finally, Fallbrook. This one is genuinely unlike anything else in Lincoln. I saved it last on purpose. Fallbrook is the neighborhood that surprises people. It's built around an actual town center, restaurants, shops, trails, and it has a community feel that most Lincoln neighborhoods don't. If walkability and that small town within a city vibe matters to you, this is the one to look at. This neighborhood feels like someone dropped a small town in the northwest corner of Lincoln. This is Fallbrook neighborhood in Lincoln, Nebraska. A lot of people like this area because it's built around a town center. You've got restaurants, shops, trails, and places to hang out without having to drive across town. It's one of the few neighborhoods in Lincoln where you can realistically walk to dinner and not feel like you're on a survival mission. Most of the homes here are newer construction compared to other parts of Lincoln. And you'll see a mix of single-family homes, townhomes, and some apartments nearby. Prices vary depending on size of location, but many of the homes in this area tend to range from the mid-300s up into the 500s and higher for larger properties. This neighborhood is especially good for families and professionals who want a quieter area, but still like having things nearby and a strong sense of community. Honestly, the town center is what makes Fallbrook feel different. It doesn't feel like a typical subdivision. Okay, so now that you've seen all 7, here's how I'd break it down, depending on who you are. If you're a first-time buyer and affordability is your priority, near South, Everett, or University Place. All 3 give you central location, historic character, and some of the most accessible price points in Lincoln. Now, if you want convenience above everything else and don't want to overthink it, Colonial Hills. You'll be in the middle of town, close to everything, and you're not going to overpay. If you're moving with kids and want newer construction with room to breathe, Highlands. Parks, space, easy commute access, it checks all the boxes. If you want established prestige and you love the idea of a home that actually has history, Country Club. Sheridan Boulevard in October alone is worth it. And if walkability, community, and a neighborhood that actually has somewhere to go on foot is what you're after, Fallbrook wins. It's the most unique thing Lincoln has built in the last 20 years. The honest truth is, there's no wrong answer here. Lincoln is a genuinely good city to live in. The neighborhood just depends on what matters most for your family. If you're thinking about moving to Lincoln and want help figuring out which neighborhood fits you, I'd love to talk. I put together a free relocation guide with everything you need to know about moving here, and the link is in the description below. You can also call or text me directly at 402-570-1661 or shoot me an email at timwoosley@nebraskarealty.com. I help people make this move every week. I'd be glad to help you too. And if you want to keep exploring Lincoln before you make your decision, I'm dropping new videos here every week. I'll see you in the next one.